It's a lovely Friday morning right here in the nation's capital. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily. And it's a Friday edition, which means that I'm here with the lovely Malkwe Ogun Yusuf. But my name is Kayla Megwa. Welcome to the program and good morning, Malkwe.
Indeed, Kayla, it's good to see you. Welcome once again. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily. It's 26 degrees Celsius here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Well, yesterday was a very remarkable day in Nigeria's history. We celebrated the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. So this time around, they wanted to lay emphasis on celebrating the living and also remembering, or the living includes those who are currently serving, those who have served, those who lost a limb while serving, and also remembering those who have gone before us in service to their fatherland. So quite a significant day it was for Nigeria yesterday. As we did know, we also did give some history, some context to what exactly has, why it is that we celebrate the Armed Forces Remembrance Day on January the 15th. Previously, it used to be celebrated sometime in November, to mark the end of World War I. But right now, Nigeria since moved hers to January the 15th to also remember something that happened in Nigeria at the end of a fratricidal civil war, a very bloody one, which the country still hasn't completely healed from. And the challenges that continue to, bedevil us as a country in terms of our security, in terms of unity. I think that January 15 also is a chance to call to mind that particular day. So on the program this morning, we will be looking at the welfare and the status of our personnel, of those who have served us in this country, those who have retired. How have we done? Have we done well by them? What exactly is the status? So we'll be looking at that much later on this program. But this morning, just to start the program, we'll also be revisiting this great Nigeria building fire, which we understand took the lives of 12 people, amongst them 3 brothers. The news had initially come out from the Lagos state government that no lives were lost in that particular fire. But unfortunately, as it did come out, it does appear that at least 12 people lost their lives. Kayla, we're still reeling from this. I mean, yesterday or 2 days ago, we were in Oka, the Anambra state capital, to cover the funeral of 3 of those brothers. I never saw anything more heartrending, that people who went to work, who went to another state to look for legitimate work and were about their business, coming home in caskets, all 3 of them from one family. And, the talk that had preceded that particular tragedy, or that come after, when the Lagos state government said that, there were no lives lost.
I think it's the tragedy of our country. It's the tragedy of the existence that we have as Nigerians. When these things happen, it does feel in many ways like our government does what it can to save face, as though saving face is more important than saving lives. And we see it in a lot of things. This Oka story, it's one of many. It's one of many stories like that. First thing, we're not sure. Cover disasters, even in the nation's capital, everywhere in this country. The first thing that they come out and say is, well, we're not sure, of how many lives were lost. There's a communication that happens when Nigerian people suffer, when the Nigerian people are going through something. And that's a communication that I think every agency of government has to learn how to show empathy initially. Because with this one, you said no lives were lost, and then now we're looking at 3 children, 3 brothers from the same family. We cannot continue. And then whatever it is that caused this, while we're talking about how the Nigerian government is supposed to respond to these sorts of situations, there's also the bigger issue where investigations have to happen after these things occur. And then we need to not just hear the governor or whoever come out and say, oh, we are doing our best. What happens after, Let's get the people who caused this. Let someone be held responsible for it. It's a country, Malkwe, that, we have to consciously build. And the concept of nationhood, if you're trying to get the buy-in of the Nigerian people when it comes to, oh, be patriotic, do something for your country. Oh, look, we have new tax laws and we want you to obey them. Oh, we're doing this now and we need you to obey them. They need to feel the reason why they should obey them. And that nationhood is built from the empathy and trust that they have in the Nigerian government. That empathy and that trust was missing in this particular situation in a number of states.
And I think that the Lagos state government does owe us an explanation. Because,
and an apology to that family.
Yeah, to that family, oh yes, sure. Because there's still questions, in fairness to the Lagos state government, if there is any state government that has at least taken emergency services seriously. One can say the Lagos state government has. Of course, it still has a lot more work to do in that regard. I mean, in terms of the time in which those services get to the places where those services are needed, the time frame is still something that they need to work on. So while they're working on that, there needs to be questions asked as to why is it that in this particular incident, they were quick to say that there were no lives or that there were no casualties. Because right now it has placed a blanket of doubt on what exactly the motives could have been. But I want to believe that on this particular instance, especially maybe after they have seen how families are affected by those kinds of things, that there will be an explanation for what truly transpired in the Great Nigeria Building fire, and perhaps what the protocol should be going forward with regards to tragedies like this, and how it is that, well, we're hoping that we will not see tragedies like this. We're hoping that we'll be a lot more safety conscious. Since the holidays, Kayla, I have been making a lot of noise, and even before that time, on safety, on the issue, the reason why we need to take safety more seriously. Security cannot be dealing with us on the one hand, and issues that are well within our control, which is safety, is also dealing with us on the other hand. Look at how many lives we've lost alone in this season, you know, to issues around safety, be it vehicle accident. Look at Anthony Joshua and his friends, or is it negligence? You know, these are things that we need not lose lives.
Especially at this time of the year. And you are absolutely correct, Malkwe. We do have a report coming up shortly on this, just so people can remember how this happened. But, you know, with the Yuletide, this is dry season. There are a lot of things that happen.
Oh, yes.
And one of those major things are fires. It does feel like this year we didn't get that... there used to be an enlightenment campaign, especially in the FCT here, where they start to talk about, look, this is fire season, and you have to be a little bit more careful. But let's get that report for you right now so you can see exactly what has happened and why we're talking about this morning.
The air in Umugboma, Uzakwa is thick, not with the heat of the afternoon, but with a grief so heavy it seems to steal the wind. Here in the compound of the late Sir Polycarp Omatu Ikwemeza, a family is being buried in segments. 3 brothers, 3 lives, 3 empty spaces that can never be filled. Stephen, Kashmir and Collins Omatu do not come home from Lagos for Christmas as planned. Instead, they returned in caskets, victims of the fire that consumed the Great Nigeria House on Christmas Eve. Mourners wear expressions of despair, yet the priest in his homily reminds all that even amid tragedy, God remains in charge, urging the faithful to hold on to hope.
Just as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats, he will put the righteous people on his right and the others on his left. Then the king will say to the people on his right, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father. Come and possess a kingdom which has been prepared for you ever since the creation of the world."
The commendation rites begin and the brothers' bodies are lowered into the grave. The grief is overwhelming, with wailing and emotional outbursts. The sight of the wives and children of the deceased underscores the magnitude of the loss.
Let the whole world know what is going on here in Iya and Anambra State. Let us know that the 3 brothers, Stephen, Kashmir and Collins Omat, we are the same mother. They are my younger brothers. They are victims of what happened on the 24th of December 2025. And others, I am speaking for others who nobody is speaking for them. I'm a priest, and by the virtue of my ordination, I am bound to speak for justice for those who cannot speak for themselves.
Very big loss to us. We never pray for such to happen again. We can't fight anything. God knows why it happens. We only ask God, never allow such to happen in my local government again.
Community members have expressed anger at authorities, particularly the Lagos State government, criticizing the handling of the emergency that led to the tragedy.
The announcement is what baffled me most. He said that there was no casualties. They fed the young promising Nigerians. And they said most especially the fire service. They said that they are for rescue. They rescue nothing. And when I persuaded them to move forward and see that they rescue some lives, they asked me which life are they rescuing. Didn't I hear the comment of the governor that there's no casualty? So with that, they failed me.
I want to plead on governments to help us more, especially in such a market like that. We are supposed to have a firefighting service station, but we do not have it. Lagos State government should do more on us by providing us with a firefighting service station.
Amid tears and heartbreak, the family prays that such a tragedy never befalls them again, as they remember the lives of the 3 young men taken too soon.
Explanations will certainly be still in order for Stephen Casimir and Collins Omakwo. We will certainly be looking forward to a comprehensive investigative report or investigation report from the Lagos State government with regards to this. But at this point, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the significance of the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. In just a moment, please stay with us.
With the Nigerian flag waving proudly in the Harmattan breeze, servicemen and women stood smartly in formation. It's the wreath laying ceremony, the climax of the week-long activities set out to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. Present are members of the National Assembly, members of the Federal Executive Council, members of the Diplomatic Corps, military officers, and families of the late soldiers. The arrival of Vice President Kashim Shettima, who is representing President Bola Tinubu, signals the commencement of the ceremony. He then leads dignitaries towards the cenotaph for the wreath-laying ceremony, where prayers are said and a 1-minute silence is observed.
The moment the Vice President is proceeding to lay the wreath. This is a time.
One after the other, with the Vice President leading, wreaths are laid. Three volleys are fired by the firing party. Some pigeons symbolizing peace are then released, marking the end of the day's ceremony. For some of the dignitaries, it is a day to pay tribute to the sacrifices made for the country.
Thank you for protecting our democracy. Thank you for working with this administration to take the nation to the next level. We are proud of what the president is doing about the welfare of the men in service.
And precisely that's what we would like to focus on, the significance of the day and, of course, the welfare of the men in and out of service. And this morning we're joined by Major General Rogers Nicholas. He's retired, the former Chief of Civil Military Relations of the Nigerian Army. General, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us in our studios this morning. I see you're still wearing your emblem.
Thank you for paying.
And how did you feel yesterday, though, as a retired Major General and somebody who, has given largely his life in service to the nation in the Nigerian Army? How do you feel?
Well, sincerely speaking, I feel very proud of the Nigerian military, even though there are some challenges. But I feel very proud that I served the Nigerian military for over close to 40 years. And there are challenges, particularly when it comes to Remembrance and Celebration Day, as it's called now. When we remember the fallen heroes, we're also supposed to remember the living and to celebrate with the living and the families of the fallen heroes. But you find out that it's, at a particular level, it's not properly organized, and I find out the families of the fallen heroes continue to complain of negligence, of not being carried along, and so many things. But before I come into that, I want to talk about this Remembrance Day and this emblem that I'm wearing today. Can you see me wearing this emblem?
Yes, you're still wearing it today.
Yes, I'm wearing it today because I designed this emblem in 2014.
Which is interesting.
Yes, I designed it in 2014. We used to have one big umbrella kind of.
Yes, that is true. I remember it.
So I designed this in 2014, and we used it in 2014, 2015, 15th January to mark the celebration. But unfortunately, nobody in this country has recognized my effort. People wear it to the presidency, to the National Assembly, all ministers wear it. Nobody cares who actually designed this. Where did it come from? It didn't come from the Bruce. I designed it. And I think I should be given some credit.
And you will be given some credit. So we have to thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
For coming up with this, because it's much smaller. I do remember, because as anchors, one of the things that we also try to do is encourage the Nigerian people. And one of the way to let the people know that this is one way we support our troops is by also wearing the emblem ourselves. So I remember we used to have this really big ceremonial stuff which you had to put on your dress. And then when it was changed to this, we were all like, yeah, this is more like it. Because I remember that, in the UK, they have a small poppy, which they sell in the stores, which you can, pick up to. And I was saying, why can't they just do something close to that? So when I saw this, I was like, hey, now we're talking. Yes. And, so well done to you. And I'm kind of surprised that there's been no special recognition for that. But I want to believe that as time goes on, that certainly will change. But let's talk about the day itself. Because as you rightly pointed out, we continue to hear cries of, oh, I'm taking a look at the dailies this morning. Let me even take a look at the Daily Trust. First of all, the Daily Trust pointed out very pointedly, this is something that is so obvious, and I'm sure a lot of people noted it, that the president was not there in person on such a significant day. They think that is an anomaly. This is Daily Trust saying, Tinubu away as nation honors fallen heroes. Yes, we see that he issued a statement here saying that we remember the brave men and women of the Nigerian armed forces who sacrificed everything for the country. But there are people who believe that on such a day as this, the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces really needs to be in town to give honor to whom honor is due. But taking a look at, say, the Pilot newspapers, for instance, it says, we've been abandoned. That is the lead story, and I'm sure that this is talking about the widows of fallen soldiers. And year in, year out, this continues to be the cries. But much later, I mean, in one of the reports, because we also went around the States, we did the coverage of what was happening in the States, and speaking with some of the, the veterans, some say, look, what is now happening is that there's a discrimination, there's a dichotomy between, those who served years ago and those who just finished service. Now, those who just finished service, it would seem that their own welfare package is different from theirs who served years ago. It's different and it's better, so to speak. So what exactly has been the challenge with regards to remunerating or rewarding adequately the service of those who have given their lives to the fatherland?
Well, that's a political decision.
It's a political decision?
Yes, it's not a military decision. It's a political decision that has to be done by the government of the day. You understand? Now, there are laws. I think it was during President Obasanjo that he made this law that affected the crop of people who are retired of recent. And then those that served earlier than that were left out. I don't have the details of that information, but that is how it is. But I think that, like I say, political decision, the government needs to sit up and then look at it holistically and then honor all those who are involved in serving this country, particularly the military veterans. You know, I'm a veteran now because I've retired. I've joined them.
No, but you're a different type of veteran, aren't you?
No, a veteran is a veteran. That's the truth.
What I mean is, when we're now speaking of welfare, I mean, certainly the package of a major general who's retired will certainly not be, we should not be complaining about that now, should we?
Well, let me put it rightly. The salary of a retired major general is nothing to take home about. To be very sincere, how much is it? Just 1.2 million every month. I don't do any other thing except sit down and wait for the 1.2 million naira every month. Is that what I should be living as a retired major general? For God's sake, let's cry out. Nothing is, it goes down the ladder up to the private soldiers. So there's need for the government to look at it and review that. Look, these people have served this country, and right now they are not engaged in anything, not in politicking, not in any government affairs. Just sit down and wait for the salary, the pension. It's nothing enough. So government should do more to better the lives of veterans. Honestly speaking, it's important because we spent our youthful age serving this country. What the greatest sacrifice can anybody do than to lay your life for the country?
Let's talk about that dignity, because that's something the president talked about, right, in his statement. He says he's reaffirming his commitment to the welfare and dignity of our forces. A secure Nigeria stands behind those who defend it, and these are the people who are on the front line. When it comes to people who have left service, you said the 1.2 million is what you're being paid as a major general in retirement, and you're asking that they should do something. What do you want the government to do? Should they increase the money? Should they hire you plus consultants? What kind of engagement do you want the government to have with you as retired members of the service?
Now, if you look at the age of retired people, after serving 35 years or more than that, so the average age of retired person is about 60-something years. So what strength would somebody that has 60-something years do for you? What strength or quality of work can he present to you? So what they're asking is, financially, empower those people so that they can be able to buy freely from the market where people buy. So increase their salary, make provision for some welfare packages for them.
An increment of how much?
I don't know. It depends on what government can do. But if you look at other countries,
for me as a major general,
if a local government councillor goes home with 5 million naira, why can't the general go home with 5 million naira? Look at the parameter. We are not asking for the big senators or House of Rep. But if a local government chairman or councillor can take 5 million naira, why can't a major general go home with 5 million or something more than that?
Is that what they're taking home? Local government chairman?
Councillor, I didn't say chairman.
Are going home per month with 5 million naira?
More than that. Go and verify your information.
That is interesting.
Okay, well, let's take a look at those who are serving right now. What's your assessment of how those in active, these are very tough times for us as a people. So when we look at our security forces, we are constantly, trying to support them, make sure that they know, we appreciate you. We understand that the reason why some of us are able to sleep, because many people are not able to sleep at night, but for some of us who are able to sleep peacefully, we know it's you who are standing in front of the enemy. What do you make of the way people in service are being treated right now by the Nigerian government? Is it satisfactory in your view? Or are there other things that you would rather have them do right now to encourage our troops?
Well, it's true that the government of the day is doing its best to better the lives of service personnel. But that is not enough. That's what I say. Both those who are serving and those who are retired. Those who are serving right now, there's need for a lot of, for government to come with a lot of good packages for them. Every day we lose soldiers, and these are people's husbands, people's fathers, people's brothers. You understand, our sisters? So there is need for government to come up. Anybody who is ready to sacrifice his life for this country should be well catered for. Okay? We see how much our legislators are taking home, senators and House of Representatives. Why can't we get something on that average? We're not asking for the same thing. You know, how much is a private soldier taking in? That is why you see some people in some areas, people have refused to join the recruitment. The Nigerian Army. The Chief of Army Staff currently is doing a lot to persuade people to come and join the army with so many incentives, but it's not enough. You know, you want to pay a soldier a person who just joined the military, you pay 100,000 naira to join the military. How much can that buy? And if somebody is selling pure water on the street of Lagos or anywhere in Kano or anywhere Port Harcourt, he makes 100,000 naira a month without households, without any risk. So these are the issues. Why I say it here clearly that the current Minister of Defense, the CDS and the service chiefs are doing enough to support the soldiers with what they have. But it's not enough. The government needs to do more.
Well, you mentioned the Minister of Defense. Now, there's something that this particular Minister of Defense has always talked about. He has always talked about the fact that, look, we are doing our kinetic bit, but there's a non-kinetic bit that is not being done. And so what we're losing our men in a war that you are causing. That's basically what it is. No matter how you want to sugarcoat it. I am losing my men in a war that you have refused to do the right thing. Because if the poverty levels, if you were able to do the non-kinetic bits in these areas, the chances are that the recruitment into terrorist organizations and banditry and all this would reduce drastically. Talk to us a bit about that dynamic, because we also hear soldiers, you know, of course they would never speak up in public, but you know, they tell you, look, we do our best, but then look at the situation.
I agree with the minister and the service chiefs on this completely. Now, we take the risk, okay? We record deaths every day. No game saying about it. But these are the kinetic measures. The non-kinetic measure is slow, very, very slow. What we're talking about, improving poverty, improving employment rate, improving job creation and all these things, so that people can get engaged in official things rather than getting engaged in banditry and kidnapping and other things. If somebody is properly engaged, employed, and I don't see him getting engaged in the things like kidnapping or other things, which is a risky invention. So, but there is need for the government of Nigeria to engage into the non-kinetic aspect of it, to try to see what they can do to get people into behaving well, you know, to get people to go back to normal life, you know, forget about banditry, forget about kidnapping. Job creation is one area, poverty alleviation is one area, you know, empowering people is one area, so that people can have purchasing power, you know, reducing the cost of living across board. Look at some places, they even get accommodation in Abuja now. No matter the level of accommodation you want to get in Abuja City, you must cough out nothing less than 2.5 million naira to get a single room. So how many people can afford that? These are part of the dynamics of the system.
It's also strange that the military personnel are trying to pay rent. Are you not supposed to be living in government-funded housing?
No, in some places.
They are. In their barracks, there's Wubasi, there's Lungi.
But you see, the accommodation is not enough for the number. If you look at the number of soldiers in Abuja, the accommodation we have is not enough. That's just the truth.
Talk about the rest of the country.
Then talk about the rest of the country. But I know that in some places in the field, there's accommodation. Some locations, the battalions, you have accommodation. But how many people are in the battalion areas? A battalion house is just about 800 people and their families. So that in those areas, you have adequate accommodation. But when you go to the city centers, and you know that these days, insecurity is also domiciled in the city centers. In every state capital, there's a problem. In every state capital, in every growing town in Nigeria, there's a problem. And most of the barracks in Nigeria are located in local government areas.
You know, I continue to get concerned about the fact that, you know, a lot of people still do not know what this is, what this emblem is about. And I also think that it is not as commonplace as it ought to be. So the places where we need to be raising awareness as to, you know, getting the support of the Nigerian people to understand what it is, to understand the sacrifices that our military are putting in, to understand what the emblem, it's sad that I'm not wearing one today, but you know, it was supposed to have stopped wearing it yesterday.
Yes.
But just for people to understand, I'm sure if you tap the average person, maybe who sees them, they imagine that it's just government officials. Or if you wear it, then you must be a government official. Maybe you are supposed to wear it to corporate functions.
Or TV presenters.
Or TV presenters, you know, who are mandated to wear it. You know, and I think that this was this is significant for someone like me, because I understand how in the United Kingdom, I mean, I lived there a bit, so I saw how significant the poppy was to them. They wore it everywhere. All the stores, you know, all the commercial stores sold the poppy, you know, to support they had a special box where you could pick up the poppy and then you donate something that you wanted to donate towards the cause of the veterans. And I'm wondering, what will it take for that sort of culture? As somebody who designed this, I'm sure you would love to see that sort of culture really kick off and really, you know, take roots in. What do you think it would take for people to really understand that this is not about the president or the governor, and it's very annoying. In my opinion, it's very annoying that the ones for governors is different, the one for the president is different. Was that part of the design that you made first?
Yeah, initially it was not like that. But you know, when people start getting interested in certain things, they want to create class difference.
I don't know why that was
that shouldn't
that was
be.
not the point.
It was a simple thing for everybody to wear the same thing. That is what I designed. But along the way, there was some little amendments, and they said this is for the governor, you know, that kind of, you know, we have a class system in Nigeria, which shouldn't be. And like you said, like you said about the needs for this
to take root.
You know, I was in UK. I was flying from UK to US, and it was during this open period.
Season.
And the pilot announced that, please, if you're a veteran or a serving person, please move to this business class. I was in third class. And I stood up gallantly as a general from Nigeria, and I was, so, where are you from? I said, Nigeria. I said, no, this is not for you.
Oh dear.
You understand what we're talking about? So those countries have institutionalized such things, and they have respect for people who have served their country. We need to do such a thing here. And then I think NOAA, the military agency, has a lot to do. The Ministry of Information has a lot to do. You don't allow the military to be doing, allow the military to do what it's supposed to do. This is a national thing that should be run by the federal government. So the government needs to institutionalize organizations that should be responsible for advertising this thing. I think NOAA should be responsible for educating people on this thing. The Ministry of Information should also play a role in educating people for this. We have NOAA also state level, local government level. Ministry of Information, both state and federal government, should get engaged in this and educate people the importance of this. And look, this has to do with sacrifice of life. People have paid for this, so we need to sacrifice for this. How many shops do you go and see people give you this kind of thing? You know, in those shops abroad, like you said, you go, there's percentage given to you. You know, for whatever you're buying, they give you some rebate. It's not done here.
That's for the military personnel.
For the military,
for the veterans.
For the veterans. Nobody gives you that here. You want to? I think it's only earpiece that announces. When you are boarding, they ask for the military personnel to come in first. Only earpiece does that. No other airline does that. And I think we should institutionalize things like that and make it go nice for us so that people can feel that we are part of this country.
Well, General, we're certainly will be looking forward to improvements in this year in terms of how we pay attention to those who are currently serving and those who are done, you know, who have retired like yourself in service to their fatherland. We continue to salute the efforts and salute the sacrifice of our men and women who have chosen to serve this country by volunteering their lives in service. We thank you for your service, and we hope that God, well, Nigeria will do what it can, but that God in his infinite mercies will also, you know, reward you for your service to your fatherland.
Yes, we need to, you know, so that I don't die like the man who designed the national flag. He was not rewarded until he died and passed away. So I want to be rewarded now that I'm living.
Indeed, indeed. So, I mean, that's certainly one trivia that we can include in our question. Current affairs. Who designed the emblem that we use at the Remembrance Day, the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day? And we now know the answer. It is Major General Rogers Nicholas. Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. And I hope that, you know, that will certainly be taken note of. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Major General Rogers Nicholas is the former Chief of Civil Military Relations of the Nigerian Army. Thank you once more, General.
Thank you very much. God bless. Thanks.
Well, we take a break at this point. When we come back, we will be taking a look at the politics in Port Harcourt. It's still very much, well, let's just say River State. It's still very much on the front burner. In just a moment, please stay with us.
I align myself with all that my colleague, Honorable Barile Wako, the Deputy Minority Leader of the 10th Assembly. It will interest you to know that I represent the FCT Minister, His Excellency, Chief Barrister Ezenwonye Sonwike. He is my constituent. And I want to let you know that before coming for this press briefing, that I informed him. I told him of it. But he said to me that I should do whatever my conscience tells me to do. I therefore speak to the conscience of the governor of Rivers State and our deputy. To retrace their steps and govern in line with the Constitution and keep all agreements entered with the supervision of Mr. President for the good and betterment of Rivers State.
Indeed, we did tell you that Rivers politics is still very much on the front burner. We're joined by Mr. Ehi Brahima now, who is the publisher, editor-in-chief of Niger Times. Mr. Brahima, Happy New Year to you, even though it seems a little late. 16 days gone already in January, but I don't know. Do you still feel like we're...
It's not late. Happy New Year. It's not late at all.
Indeed. Happy New Year to you. And we've been told already that this is a political year. 2026 is going to be the year a lot is decided. And very early in the year, we saw threats of impeachment by members of the Rivers State House of Assembly who boldly came out to say that they would like to impeach the governor for some constitutional, what they termed, constitutional breaches. But in the last couple of days, we've seen a few lawmakers pull out. Initially, we saw a first two say that much as they acknowledge that indeed the governor might have committed some constitutional breaches, they would like to tread a path of peace. They want to see reconciliation and perhaps politics come into the mix to resolve whatever differences exist. And just yesterday, we also saw this particular announcement by these other female lawmakers. Oh, you heard her say that she incidentally represents the Minister of the FCT, who is her constituent and in the House of Assembly. So what are your thoughts with what we're seeing in the Rivers State House, or in Rivers in general, especially with regards to the politics? Are you pretty shocked that we saw this impeachment threat? That was the last week. And what do you make of some of the lawmakers who are now saying, well, maybe we should take a step back and take a second look at this?
I must say that when the impeachment notice came this time again, and I'm like, every day you have one new trouble in Rivers State. It was totally uncalled for. I was, although I was not surprised, but it wasn't called for at all. And but you can see that the momentum has slowed down. They were supposed to have reconvened yesterday, the House of Assembly, but nothing like that. And you see more and more members of the House of Assembly saying they don't want to be part of the impeachment process anymore. I mean, since January 8th, when about 26 lawmakers served their notice, citing different constitutional breaches, you probably thought by now, but they were given 7 days, the governor and his deputy. But it is evident that there are a lot of conversations, behind the scenes. And honestly, I didn't see this, coming through, removing the governor from office. I mean, this is, for crying out loud, Governor Silaye Fubara has crossed over to the APC. And he is now one of the 28 governors, APC governors. And you think the leadership of APC and the party in power will just allow one of their own governors to be thrown away? After what he has suffered between March and September last year, when he was suspended from office. So I think it's a matter the APC stakeholders are interested in. It's a matter Mr. President himself is also interested in. And you can be sure that Mr. President is not sleeping on this matter. So I'm sure he's giving specific instructions, and I'm sure those instructions will also include like stopping that impeachment process.
Mr. Brimer, I think it was last week, our interview on Hard Copy, and we had Mr. Tonya Cole on the program, and he said categorically, and I've heard a lot of people say this, there will not be any peace between these two parties, Siminalayi Fubara and Nyesom Wike. The anger is too much. One feels very betrayed, the other one feels very stifled, and then now is the battle for who can gather as many supporters as possible to, win, as though there's a winner in this matter, to win in this particular drama. And then the question about what happens after, the president has, do you remember the last intervention? No, there has been no intervention like that. He put a state of emergency. And from the conversations we're seeing afterwards, it does seem like that state of emergency was to save Governor Siminalayi Fubara, because the plan apparently was to impeach him. So state of emergency, installed somebody there. The whole country was upset. There was upheavals everywhere. The matter had to go to court. And then an agreement, you do this, everyone. And then 6 months, they came back and the same problem again. Do you really believe that there will be a solution to this matter in Rivers State? And what is a way out in your view?
At some point, I'm sure the Honorable Minister will have to calm down. Mr. President tells him to calm down. He will calm down. I mean, look at what happened in Lagos State House of Assembly the other day when the Speaker, was removed, Obasa. And then, of course, that process was reversed after Mr. President intervened. So, sometimes this is just politics. And we all know politics is about interest. At the end of the day, you also want to ask, what about the place of the people? What is their gain in all of this unnecessary fight? I believe that this fight between Wike and Fubara has gone on for too long. And if it's Wike's biggest fear is if Fubara gets a second term, and he said it himself that he'll be very politically. I don't think he should see it like that. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. If you anointed Fubara, as it were, to become the governor, and then this is what is now playing out, clearly there must have been a poor, judgment call on Wike's part. But I think he needed to just let it go. I mean, you have been local government chairman. You have been chief of staff to Rotimi Amechi. You have served as minister. You have served as governor for 8 years. Now you are serving as a minister again in FCT. Oh, come on. I think Wike should just give us a break. I understand how he feels that he's been betrayed and he wants to protect his political structures. But life is all about you win some, you lose some. If at the end of the day, because it's very evident now, the APC leaders, as I said, they're not going to let Fubara go down. Because Wike is doing everything to stop Fubara from getting a second term ticket. And that was why this impeachment thing kicked in. But if that fails, it means Wike, Fubara obviously will be coasting home, and participating in the primaries and possibly getting the second term ticket. So for everything as we have seen it, it is not helping our democracies. For me, I always say these things are threats. When individuals become strong men, become too powerful, it doesn't help our democracy. We should rather build strong institutions, not strong individuals. And in the case of the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, I believe that he should just let this go and allow Wike and the people of Rivers State to have their moment.
We'll be watching to see if that actually happens. But it's not just Rivers State. It's Kano. We saw even some stories from Abia where some people are accusing Orji's Okalo of trying to, take over the structure in the state. And, it does feel like this politics of opposition in Nigeria on one side has its issues going on. But then the ones that are already in government, there's back and forth and whatnot. I think on some level we've started thinking that this is normal when it comes to political years like this, the upheavals and everything. But, you know, you ended that statement by talking about what it does to democracy. These fights, are they healthy on some level for our democratic process, or are they just, you know, people who are concerned more about their interests and not really about developments in their states?
The governors, they know what they're doing. And it's all about position, power, and influence. And then who controls the resources of the state. That is what is playing out, you know, most of the time. I'm talking about fight between governors who appointed their successors. In Edo State, between Godin Obaseki and his predecessor, who also anointed him, by the way. Talking about Senator Adamson Shomolina, who also served Edo State as a governor for 2 years. That happened in Kaduna. You saw what also played out between Obasani and Nasir El-Rufai. So it's like a game. And the rest of us are just pawns on the political chessboard. So let us see, but we must continue to encourage and promote democracy, in spite of all our faults and shortcomings. The other point I'd like to make is you mentioned Kano State, you mentioned Abia State. Currently, I wouldn't want to say there are pressures on those two governors to come to APC, to defect to APC. But clearly, these defections, they appear induced, if you ask me, and they must have their reasons. You know, so our team, they're trying to also do a story on what these defections are all about. The governors moving to APC, even second-term governors are also moving
before Mark comes in, I mean, the defection of defections, not to cut you there, Mr. Brimo. Yesterday, we also saw in the news that Atiku Abubakar's son has joined the APC. You know, and he released the statement, you know, basically saying, look, this is his choice. He's allowed to do this, you know. But talk to us about this political year and how the Nigerian can keep their sanity in a year where politicking is hitting you with one news after the other every single day. How do we stay focused and be ready for 2027?
A lot will still happen. We need to just brace ourselves as we come down to 2027. A lot will be happening. So let us get our popcorn ready and sit and watch as political events develop and unfold. But this year, the parties, the party in power, APC, we're now having the ADC trying to now really strengthen as a major opposition party. We also have the PDP, you have the Labour Party, you have Accord, you have SDP. Let us see how, you know, this the politics of 2027 begins to come, you know, to the fore. I believe that we are in for interesting times this year because you see, politics is all about having a strategy to win. Whatever that strategy may be, people are meeting, and of course, Mr. President wants to return for a second term, and be sure they will do everything humanly possible to make that happen. Whereas the opposition too are also working very hard, especially the ADC, to unseat the president. But we'll see how that goes.
You took that right out of my mouth, Mr. Brima, because you just mentioned the ADC, and yesterday we saw Mr. Dele Momodu, or Chief Dele Momodu, go to Edo State to pick up his membership card. He made mention of the fact that he says at least two of the most formidable opposition candidates are already in the ADC. He says, never mind the current jostling and infighting, it would seem that this is what we would normally see, but he believes very strongly that the ADC would coalesce in time to give the APC a good run for its money. How optimistic are you that we'll be able to see that from the ADC, given all that we're currently hearing?
I want our democracy to be vibrant with opposition politics. That's why I'm really not in support of the idea of what people now call a one-party democracy. You know, we should have two big parties, two, you know, parties that are really so that we get the best, you know, from politicians and their plans and programs. So talking about ADC, I see the momentum is now building, because up to last year, we're not sure, you know, what the direction will be. But right now, I can see a lot of political heavyweights are moving in that direction. And I'm sure we'll still have more people politicians in the months to come declaring for the ADC. So yes, I watched Dele Momodu. I call him my publisher. Yesterday declaring for ADC in Benin City. By the way, he was also at Ihire, his hometown in Edo State. Chief Dele Momodu is from Edo State, so he went home and to make his case that he's now joining the ADC and that he's going to work very hard to see that they are successful at the next election. But we'll see how that goes, because the work, there's a lot of work to be done from the world level, local government level, state level, to the federal level. It's a lot of work to get things done in all the wards and polling units throughout the country. But I wish them the best. But the issue of who will be their presidential candidate, I think that's a trending topic, because earlier, the former vice president, Atiku Abubakar, said that nobody's stepping down for anyone. So, and Peter Obi declaring that he's joining the party the other day. So there's this interesting, conversation about who will be their candidate, who will be the winner in their primaries. We'll just wait and see. 24 hours in politics is a very long time. So I'm sure at the end of the day, they will find a solution.
Indeed, and I know that you and I will be here to analyze and give life to whatever it is that transpires at the end of the day. Mr. Ibrahim, I will look forward to engaging with you in the course of the year. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. He is a publisher.
Thank you, Mark Way, and thank you, Kayla. Happy New Year again.
Indeed. Thank you. Mr. Ibrahim is a publisher and editor-in-chief of the Niger Times. And that's how we wrap it up this beautiful Friday morning. It's been quite a beauty being with you in your living space, wherever it is you're watching us. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. I'm Maokwe Ogunyuso.
Indeed, it is Friday. Have a great weekend ahead. Remember to join us on hard copy. And yes, Chris, you can send me the bill. 8:30 tonight. I'm Kayla Magua. Have a wonderful weekend.
There will be no bill.